the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome into the Auburn Blitz podcast here on a Friday. Brett and Faith here, bringing you into the weekend. We're glad that you join us wherever it is and whenever it is that you join us throughout your day. We couldn't do it without our great partners. We're going to get to them in just a minute, but we've had a busy week, a ton to talk about. Unfortunately, I hate to put a negative banner across the screen, Faith, but the draft has just not been a highlight for Auburn's football program lately. We hope that's going to change in the immediate future with the way the roster looks and the things that you and I have talked about and Randy's talked about over the last 2 to 3 weeks. So we'll dive into that a little bit more here in just a little bit. But good to see you here on this Friday morning, getting started a little bit late, but, you know, we got stuff going on.
Yeah, a little bit late, not a bad thing sometimes.
Especially for the sleep, right?
Yeah, we went to a draft party last night, and so that was, being able to talk about how Auburn's not having
They're not
that many guys in there at all. So, yeah.
Well, and when you compare it to our rivals and the rest of the SEC, and you look at, and we've already said this, so again, this is not some type of breaking news, but when you look at how Auburn has played and the results for the last 4 to 5 years, the correlation is there. You know, what is Auburn putting in to the draft and what are the results? And, you know, they do directly correlate. We'll talk about what it looks like for this draft versus who got drafted and where they ranked coming out of high school, because I think that's important to know, because everybody goes, well, stars don't matter most of the time. Oh, they do. There's a reason. And yes, every 5-star doesn't pan out and every 5-star doesn't make it to the NFL, but the stat that we have will show that most of the time the 5 stars are the ones that end up making it to the NFL. And there's a reason they were highly ranked coming out of high school or in high school. And most of the time it's because of the physical attributes they have and the ability they have. Again, it's not a cut on anybody. Doesn't mean you can't work hard and push yourself to the top. But most of the time these guys have a God-given ability that was handed to them already. They just have to put the work in to get it done. But, I mean, Faith, you know this as well as I do. There's a direct correlation when you look down at your results from year to year and the number of people you're putting in the NFL draft.
Yeah, and a lot of it is it's got to do with the recruiting coaches and everything at each school
and development.
Huh?
And development.
Yeah, and development. But, man,
time to get this thing turned around.
Yeah.
100%.
Too long.
Yep. So we're going to dive into the numbers there. War down to you, Jerron. Good to hear from you this morning. If you guys have some comments, obviously we'll drift away from just Auburn talk in the draft. The headline last night was Shedeur Sanders dropping all the way out of the first round after Deion got in a Twitter war back in whenever with some people saying, look, my son will be a top 5 pick. What's your son doing? Well, you know, he didn't really say what round he'd be a top 5 pick in. It just wasn't in the first round. He might be a top 5 pick in the second round, but he got bumped all the way down. And you and I talked about what we were hearing and what we were reading. The NFL coaches were saying about Shedeur in the interview process and kind of how he's handling himself. And, hey, look, frankly, it turned a lot of them off. And they were like, this guy's cocky, comes in with an air. Just didn't do very well in some of those things. Now, I know interviews don't carry over to how you play on the field, but it's the general vibe that you put out and what they want in their locker room. And it cost him. There's no other way to put it. It cost him.
Class at that level clearly goes further than it does in college. And I think the NIL has done these guys a disservice of training them to come in with class and to be a quality person, because again, they're supposed to go to college to develop and prepare to go to the NFL. And you're seeing now that some of that, they're not even doing anything like that to go to the next level and be successful. We saw it with Shador. Um,
I mean, I think he's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but I think look, and I know that Colorado's not a really good example. They did improve, but the guy's got a losing record as a starting quarterback, and that's not all. That's not all on him. Okay, I mean, obviously, Bo Nix had his issues at Auburn, and he went off to Oregon and shined and was a Heisman finalist. I'm not putting it all on him, but I I've got a problem with retiring a guy's jersey that had a losing record. I'm glad we didn't do it at Auburn. I'm glad that's something I don't think we'd ever do at Auburn. Yeah, was he a dynamic player? Was Colorado's program in the crapper? Yeah, it was. But Deion Sanders has kind of masked really still the mediocrity of their program with all the things that he does marketing wise and all. And that's great because he got people talking about a program that was relatively dead. And he brought Travis Hunter in and he brought some other guys in and he was able to get some recruits that otherwise they probably wouldn't have been able to land without him. And he's getting attention from players now that otherwise, if he weren't there, probably wouldn't even consider Colorado. But at the end of the day, they still had a losing record. And Shador Sanders ended his career with a losing record. Now, Travis Hunter did win a Heisman, and Travis Hunter is an anomaly when it comes to the way you play the game. Playing both ways is almost unheard of. He says he's going to do it in the NFL. I'll believe that when I see it. He got drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars last night when you and I were looking at that at the draft party. We kind of all were predicting the first 3 or 4 picks. And then everybody started going, all right, well, where's Shador Sanders going to go? And just kept bumping down and down and down. And then you get to a point where you're in the area where teams don't need a quarterback. And you're like, he's done. He's not
well,
getting
everybody,
drafted.
when Jackson Dart,
Oh, yeah.
when he got drafted, and everybody was like, all right, well, he got drafted before Shador did. So I saw a lot of things on Twitter and Instagram about that. That cracked me up a little bit.
Right. War Eagle Jonathan, War Eagle PJ, I'll keep them rolling in. Yeah. Any other comments you guys have? I want to go back to the NFL draft stat on 5-star, 4-star, 3-star guys. So how 2025 NFL draft first round picks ranked according to 24/7, our friends at 24/7 went back and did this. I mean, 5 stars, how many, Faith?
11,
4 stars,
15,
3 stars,
4,
and then how many were not ranked?
2.
That's the breakdown of the first round. Okay. So what's the percentage of that?
81.3.
81.3% of the players drafted in the first round were blue chip players. 81%, 81.3%. If you're 24/7, you're patting yourself on the back right now. You're going, boy, we nailed that one. 26 guys were either 4 or 5-star guys, and the rest were 3. Then you had 6 guys that were either 3 or less.
And the 2 non-ranked were, the first one was Cam Ward. He was not rated. So
right. Missed that one. That was another thing that we were all sitting there talking about. And I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. And you're going to just bust out laughing because when I say something, it's not because of what we're going to talk about, but you're just going to laugh, and you just laugh when I say it. But Peyton Thorne is who we had instead of Cam Ward. And again, I know there was a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of back and forth about, well, Coach Freeze felt like Peyton Thorne was a guy that we could ride with this year and get the things done we needed to get done. Cam Ward was out there in the portal, and everybody was like, whoever gets this guy is going to be an immediate contender. And Auburn was just really lacking superb play at the quarterback position. And we all know the roster wasn't up to par, but when you interject a quarterback like Cam Ward, the record would have been much different. This is not going out on a limb. Miami was not very good either. And they put him in, and we had a better defense than Miami, by the way. And you look what he was able to do. Now, they lost a few games and some weird stuff toward the end, but Auburn wouldn't have had a losing record with Cam Ward. I'm just going to say that.
Probably not, no. But,
And then he went in the first. Then he not only was a stud quarterback that was a Heisman finalist, he goes first in the 2025 draft. And that could have been Auburn. Instead, our drought continues, and that's where we'll shift over. But let's get to some partners here on the program because we haven't done that yet. And they are extremely important to what we do here on the Auburn Blitz podcast. And we were glad to catch up with the guys at Sensagreen last night, Faith.
Always love seeing them. Yeah, Sensagreen for air that's cool and clean. Call on Sensagreen. They are the carrier dealers for Auburn University and a proud sponsor of the Auburn Blitz podcast. Love going over there, and we were talking to them last night. Wade is the best. He's Uncle T-Bone. And yeah, we had a good time over there. Gotta make sure before the summer gets too hot and before it gets too humid that you guys are taking care of your house and the air conditioning, because they're going to get real busy coming in here. And you want to make sure you save a lot of money with Sensagreen installing your carrier units.
Absolutely. Money is important. You don't want it going out the door. You want it coming in the door. Scout.
Hey, that was good.
There you go. Just trying to catch up with all of your taglines that you've been rolling out lately. You've been on a roll. Scout Program Management for all of your construction needs, full service management company, taking you from the pre-construction phase, planning all the way to the finished product, walking you through, holding people accountable, making sure they do it correctly. Scout Program Management, good people up in Birmingham, Alabama. Contact them. There's a reason you hire consulting firms like Scout so that your project is done correctly and nobody cut any corners. So call on them. And our good friends at Bunkers.
Our great friends over at Bunkers as well. I talk about the food because that is something that really sticks out to me over there, and I love it. But not just the food. They've got the awesome golf simulator bays that, you can use different sports on, all the way up to 27 different sports. So if you think that you could have gone in the first round of the NFL draft, why don't you go over there to Bunkers and test out some of your skills? Brett, we keep talking about quarterbacks. I want to see your quarterback skills in your arm.
I'll do it.
So we'll do that over at Bunkers.
I'm ready to do it. Let's go show everybody what we got. Your tremendous Tiger Woods-esque golf skills. My rocket arm over here, throwing the football. We just hope we don't break the screen, right? Is that what we're worried about? We're just worried.
The TV screens when I have that golf club in my hand.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, you just wanted to make sure that you didn't break that TV. That's what you were more concerned about than anything. But go check out Bunkers, downtown Auburn. Outstanding people. Love them. Great food, great atmosphere all the way around. Go check them out. All right, so abbreviated podcast this morning. So a few more things that I want to dive into before we get off. And then we want to remind everybody, you and I will be on location today at Lake Martin Grocery. Lake Martin Grocery down on 49. right outside the gates of Stillwaters. A lot of people know where that is. A lot of things going on down in that area. It is about to be lake season. People are already out on the water now. Everybody's excited. We're excited always. I put the pontoon boat in the water this past week. So we are ready to hit the lake, and the weather's going in the right direction, getting this cold crap out of here. So we're going to be down there, and we're going to be down there in different places throughout the summer. I guess last Friday officially kicked off our summer tour, on location tour into the fall. Faith, the Auburn Blitz on location fall summer tour coming to you somewhere. We want you to come see us.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got I'm getting the calendar sent out, waiting on Tud to send me over his thing. But
Tud's still at the draft party.
probably. But yeah, I'm gonna have that going out on the Instagram. So make sure y'all show up wherever we are, because some places, if you're the first 10 people there, you can get an app on us. So yeah, it'll be all on the calendar,
Yeah.
and the locations, the time.
Might even get a t-shirt or a hat or something like that.
Yeah, you might even meet Lucy. I don't know.
Everybody needs to. You might have a line before it's all over. People just wanting to come and pet Lucy, get an autograph. Can you just put like some ink or something on her paw and let her
Yes.
get
Oh
some
my gosh,
autographs?
that would be so fun.
She needs her picture with Albie. Big
Oh
time.
my gosh.
That
I
needs
would
to happen.
die. I would cry.
All right, some updates. SEC Men's Championship Golf. Auburn has fallen to second right now. That's okay. Right now, they are in just 2 strokes behind LSU. LSU minus 27, Auburn minus 25. At the conclusion of yesterday, LSU really had a great day. They caught Auburn and tied them at the 1 spot. So LSU really kind of answered Auburn on day 1. And Texas A&M a few strokes behind Auburn at minus 21, and then it drops off pretty good at Oklahoma at minus 14. So, really it's really a 3-horse race right now at the top. And then if you look at some of the individuals for Auburn, Jackson Coyven is tied for 6th, and so is Carson Baca. At both are at 6 under right now. So hopefully Auburn will be able to overtake, and again, they'll carry that on over into this is the stroke play side, so they'll carry it over into the weekend. But again, hopefully LSU, Auburn can overtake them. They teed off, I think, at 7 this morning, I believe, again. So getting an early start, which is 8 o'clock, over there. So anyway, the defending national champs right there at the top of the leaderboard again in the SEC championships over in Sea Island. So great golf course, a lot of experience there. Those guys know how to play it, so I've got confidence. Still got time this morning. Still have time.
Still time.
All right, so back to the draft stuff. Again, looking at Auburn as a whole, and the drought of this is 5 years now without a first-round draft pick for Auburn. And the only other school that has a longer drought than Auburn is Vanderbilt. And
Yeah.
And when you're talking about football and you're saying that you are in the category with Vanderbilt on stats, it's not very good. It's not where you want to be. All right, so let's look back and see where Auburn has been the last several years in the draft, and let's kind of look into the crystal ball a little bit, and let's see who we think our next first rounder will be. Faith. All right, so last year Auburn had Nehemiah Pritchett drafted. Jalen Simpson, DJ James, Justin Rogers, and then Marcus Harris. Anywhere from 5th to 7th there rounds. And then back in 23, you have 23 pulled up.
Yeah. We had Anders Carlson, Owen Papeo, Colby Wooden, Tank Bigsby, Derek Hall. And
Derek Hall was a second rounder.
he was, and Tank was third. But still.
And had one guy drafted in 22. And that was a good one in Roger
Yeah, Roger
McCreary.
McCreary.
If you look at this, defensive backs, Roger McCreary, Nehemiah Pritchett, Jalen Simpson, DJ James.
Yeah.
We can keep going and then look at our defensive back room this year. We've got some potential top draft picks there, but and we'll get to that in just a minute. But then you go back to 21, we had a third rounder, 2 fifth rounders, and a sixth rounder. And Anthony Schwartz was the third rounder there. And then you have to go back to 2020, and Auburn had 2 first rounders in 2020. Obviously, Derek Brown was a top pick. He was drafted 7th overall, and then Noah Igbinoghene was drafted at the very end of the first round by the Miami Dolphins. So Marlon Davidson went early there in the second round to the Atlanta Falcons. So no, I can't. And then, 5 years. So if you want to look at our record over the last 5 years, and the draft picks, and then you want to go look at Alabama and Georgia and some of these other schools that we compete against, Faith, it is a miracle. It is a miracle that we've done what we've done.
Yeah, it is. It truly is. I can't get over how well we've done, but also just the way that we honestly shouldn't be able to compete with them or with anybody.
Well, I think that's kind of where I'm going with it. The fact that we've been in the games and had a chance to win some of these games. Justin said Carlton Davis. Yeah, Carlton Davis was definitely a stud defensive back. We've had a run of really, really good defensive backs, but hay is made on the offensive line and the defensive line, and we've had a few defensive linemen, like we just said, Derek Brown. But I want to read this stat off. Again, this kind of puts things in perspective. Most NFL draft picks in SEC since 2010, and this is by position. Oklahoma and Alabama had 5. Okay, this is in the last 15 years. Alabama's had 13 running backs drafted. Okay, this is not in a particular round. This is overall. LSU's had 16 wide receivers. So they lead the wide receiver category. Tight end, Georgia was 7. Georgia's like become tight end U, although it makes me want to throw up. Alabama, here we go. This is where the hay's made. Alabama, 20 offensive linemen drafted since 2010. Auburn's had 8 drafted in the last 18 years. They've had 20 drafted since 2010. All right. Defensive line, 24 defensive linemen for Alabama. Linebackers, 19. And defensive backs, 27. 27 defensive backs. So as much as it pains me, tip of the hat across the state of what they've been able to do, but the results have directly correlated to what they've put into the draft. Look at their record. Look at what they've been able to do. Look at what they've been able to accomplish. When you got the players, you got the players.
Yeah, and that's how you win. So,
and Auburn has definitely took its criticism about development as well. But I think Auburn is getting better there. We saw our defense get better as the year went along last year, Faith. And I think you're going to continue to see that. And I think you're going to see it on the offensive side too. All right, so let's look into the crystal ball real quick before we go. And we got some partners we want to hit. Who is going to be our next first rounder? Just in your mindset, would it be Cam Coleman? Is it going to be Connor Lew? Is it going to be Keldrick Falk? I'll just start with those 3. Or is there somebody else on your radar that you're thinking that it could be that I didn't mention?
Cam stays after. Do you think Cam will stay after this year? Yeah, right?
Yep, I think he will.
His junior year.
I would hope so.
And then that makes,
Could it be
I think
Jake?
if Keldrick stays healthy, because Keldrick's
Yep.
going into his junior year,
Yep.
if he stays healthy and continues to progress as we've seen him, I think it could be Cam. I mean, could be Keldrick, but I also think it could be Cam.
Auburn's had a lot of success in the secondary. Could it be Jay Crawford? Could it be Caleb Harris? Could it be some of those guys down the line? I definitely think Anquan Fagans, if he pans out to be
Yeah,
the guy that
I
we
was
think he's
thinking
going to
about
be.
that too.
So the future's bright. Let's just be honest about it. The future is bright. Everything good in the background back there.
Yeah, she's just.
She fell off the bed.
I think she just had an itch.
I'll leave that alone. So a lot of guys in that secondary have a potential to be a high draft. I'm not saying a first round draft pick, but a high draft pick. I think definitely I'm going to go out and say I think Keldrick Faulk's going to be a first rounder.
Yeah.
I definitely think he's a guy that we all look to.
You think Kieran will be in the first few rounds?
I think he's got to have I think it's a size thing for him.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think
a
so
lot
too.
of times it gets to the point where you look down and you say, NFL is big on intangibles. That's why they put you through the grind. Yeah, Kay and Lee, Justin, I don't mean to leave him out.
I think that's why Eugene had a really hard time, and when we were talking about him yesterday, like it's a size thing with him.
Right.
But he's got the mentality. He's got the athleticism, but those factors do play a huge part into that.
No doubt about it.
Something you just can't control.
No doubt about it. Bottom line is, when you start to see the shift in the roster, you start to see the shift in results on the field, you'll see the shift in results in the NFL draft. They all go hand in hand. It's not rocket science. You just look at the teams that have had the most success. They've naturally put the most guys in the NFL draft. Okay, just to recap a little bit, keeping up with the men's golf team, they'll finish up their stroke play round today. And then, again, they're sitting in really good shape. The top 8 seeds advance to match play on Saturday and Sunday. So stroke play will finish up. And then we'll head into match play, and then that'll be how we determine who wins the SEC championship. Of course, stroke play is important, but stroke play is done for positioning. Okay, so Auburn's still sitting in really good shape. LSU with a couple strokes lead on Auburn right now, but firmly up there in the top to advance to match play tomorrow. So we'll be keeping up with that.
Yeah, and we've got baseball hosting Mississippi State this weekend starting tonight.
Right.
And we've won the last 3 home series in conference play. So looking to hold on to that. Probable starters tonight. Probably Sam Dutton.
No doubt it's Sam Dutton tonight.
Yeah. And tomorrow, Cade Fisher, and Sunday, TBD. We'll see.
Yeah, always. That third game is always one that is up in the air.
Yeah.
So again, but what you want is 2 guys that you really can rely on, 2 firm starters, and Auburn has that in Sam Dutton and Cade Fisher. So that's going to wrap that up. I want to hit some more of our partners real quick. Again, can't thank them enough. Sure Shot Faith in Alexander City.
Yeah, Sure Shot for all your hunting and apparel needs. They've got firearms, clothing, everything hunting related that you could need. They've got safes. I know a lot of people are looking at buying safes, and they can hook you up with any of your firearm troubles that you're having. Maybe if you got a firearm passed down, or maybe you just want to go in there and women, if you want to learn how to use it properly and be careful and safe while you're using it, they can go and help you with a course, show you how to use it, when to use it, all those kinds of things so that you're safe and feel confident in using it, because there's no reason to have it if you're not going to feel confident. Just up Highway 280, not far at all from Auburn. Their number is 256-329-0080. So give them a call and they'll help you with whatever you need.
No doubt about it. Oliver Ross.
Party from 20 all the way up to 20,000 people, certified and licensed bartenders that they can 100% help any of your party needs that you need bartending so that you can host and take care of your guests going on. Calling Oliver Ross, they can take care literally of all of the bartending services so that you can get to your party and not spill and not make a fool of yourself in front of all 20,000 of your friends.
Absolutely. And wrapping up here on the show, Old Number One Customs, I'll let you it's your tagline. Go ahead.
Don't DIY it for 2 years. Have Old Number One Customs do it in 2 weeks, while you send your wife on vacation and, you say, oh, I want to do the kitchen and make it better. Well, you're going to take forever to do that. She's going to come home even more stressed. So please just call on Old Number One Customs. They will help you out and be able to make sure it's done in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Check them out. There, go to Facebook and contact them that way, or let us know and we'll get you in touch with Old Number One Customs and they'll get you hooked up. JFA Blue Plumbing.
Yeah, all the water that you see damaging your tubs, toilets, sinks, everything. When you see mold, that's not minerals. So if you're going to see that and you want to put that into your body, you can do whatever. That's fine. I don't really care what you do. But I know that I don't want that going into my body. So JFA Blue Plumbing, they've got a home Atlas water filter system that is going to take care of keeping all of the filtered junk that is hopefully not going to enter your body.
Impurities.
Yeah.
All that junk.
So make sure you call on them. They've got the easiest number to remember. If I can remember it, I can guarantee that you can. 844-JFA Blue.
Yeah. Who's taking a big old gulp of a glass of brown water? Not me. Okay.
Not me.
So people out there want to say, oh, that's just minerals and stuff in there. Well, you go ahead. You have your right to do that, and you go right ahead. I will, and I think Faith said she will choose otherwise. So, all right. Again, also, last but definitely not least, another episode of On the Front Row will be hitting our YouTube channel at 2 p.m. today.
Yes, it will be out at 2 p.m. So make sure you go and watch that. It was a fun one to film, and Grant and we've had classes together, I guess, for the last 3 years. So getting to know him has been awesome. So
Faith was going to show him how to swim correctly, but then she decided not to embarrass him.
Yeah, I really thought about it, showing off my doggy paddle, but I'm going to let him, the pro, stick to it. So, yeah, I mean, he got to go and train with the Junior Olympics, and you can hear what his resting heart rate is. And
wow, it's crazy.
Surely is not mine.
It's definitely not mine.
So make sure you guys go and check that out at 2. But yeah, we'll be on location today from 12 to 1 up at Lake Martin Grocery. So
we'll be on a little bit longer than that. We'll be on probably starting around 11:30ish, and then staying a little bit later on the podcast on the stream, but our show from 12 to 1 definitely.
So you guys can see all the behind the scenes that Brett and I.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll just show everything that goes on behind the scenes. Maybe have some guests as well. So if we can talk them into getting on with us down there, Lake Martin Grocery. But I also had a great time yesterday shooting another episode of On the Front Row with Faith. You had a great time at tennis yesterday.
Yeah, I did. DJ Bennett, she's so talented and so athletic. Had a great conversation with her. She was awesome. She was so fun to talk to and get to know. a little bit better. So that'll be next week. Won't preview it too much until next week, but
Right.
just keep on the lookout for that. So,
right. And again, want to thank everybody. Had a great time yesterday at Baumhauer's. Thanks to
yes.
Travis Wisdom for the invite to the draft party, his 12th draft party there at Baumhauer's. To Tud and all those guys, glad to be partnered up with them. So we'll be seeing them a lot more in the near future, and we'll be pushing a bunch of stuff out about them starting here just in a few days as they get kicked off with us in May. So a lot of fun. But Faith, looking forward to seeing you at lunch today. We hope everybody has what?
The best day ever.
And a big old
War Eagle.